You're listening to Daily Sip with Marcel, giving you morning moments of insight, laughter, and a little something to stir the soul.
Yeah. Good morning, my fellow sippers. Today is September 15th, 2025, and welcome to Daily Sip with Marcel. Grab your mug, fill it with something strong, coffee, tea, or whatever keeps you charged up, because today's story is all about power, and not the kind you get from that third cup of espresso. I'm talking about electric vehicles. That's right, EVs. The cars that promise to save the planet, but still make you sweat when you realize the nearest charging station is in the next time zone. So here's the juice. Electric vehicles have been zooming onto U.S. roads like ants on a dropped ice cream cone. In August alone, Americans bought a record 146,000 EVs. That's about 10% of all cars sold. Used EVs are also hotter than your cup of coffee right now. Sales jumped 40% in July compared to last year. Everyone's getting in on the action. Well, everyone except Tesla. Yep, Tesla's U.S. sales actually dropped nearly 7% last month, which just proves, even in the EV world, that sometimes your battery just isn't holding a charge. But here's where the story runs out of juice. That sweet $7,500 federal tax credit for buying a new U.S.-made EV, Congress unplugged it back in July. And on September 30th, the last customers will roll off the lot with that discount. After that, buyers are going to have to decide if they still want that shiny new EV at full price. It's like going to Starbucks when the pumpkin spice latte is no longer on sale. You start to wonder if it's really worth it. And because of this, experts are saying the future might not be as electric as we thought. Last year, forecasts predicted that EVs would account for 25% of all U.S. car sales by 2029. Now, they're saying maybe 12%. That's not a road trip to the future. That's more like running out of battery halfway to grandma's house. EVs had their moment in the sun, but without that federal credit, it might be time to carpool with your neighbor again. Or, invest in a really good pair of walking shoes. All right, take a sip and plug in for something to think about, because while EVs may be losing their spark, here is something with plenty of current to keep us going.
Now for something to think about.
So, while EVs may be running out of charge, there's another corner of the internet that is fully powered up. And no, it's not cat videos, although those never die. I'm talking about BookTok. Yep, TikTok's most surprising little nook. Who knew that, in between dance challenges and people making pasta in ways that defy all logic, books would suddenly take center stage? BookTok is basically the world's biggest book club, but without the stale cookies and that one guy who never actually read the book. Instead, it's dominated by young women who are reviewing, recommending, and reenacting their favorite stories. And let me tell you, they're not just talking about dusty classics. We're talking romance, fantasy, and yes, romantasy, which, if you don't know, is like fantasy with a side of kissing, kind of like Game of Thrones if everyone had a therapist and better boundaries. What makes BookTok so irresistible isn't just the melodramatic reenactments or bookshelf tours fancier than my entire living room, it's the community. Women aren't just the readers here, they're the reviewers, the meme makers, and half the time, the authors themselves. A single video can catapult a no-name writer into the stratosphere. I mean, imagine writing a book in your pajamas, posting about it online, and suddenly it's sitting next to Stephen King at Barnes & Noble. That's the magic of BookTok. And here's the deeper part. BookTok is reshaping how we see reading. It's not just a lonely thing you do in bed while pretending to sleep. It's a social, empowering, emotional ride. It's a place where women celebrate genres that often get dismissed, like spicy romance or dark academia. And it says something powerful. Your stories, your tastes, your voice, yeah, they matter. For many, it's not about finding the next book. It's about finding themselves as the main character in their own story. And that, my friends, is something to think about. So, next time you're scrolling TikTok and you see someone crying over a book, don't scroll past. That tear streaked mascara moment, it might just be your next favorite read, or at least a reminder that loving books is as cool as doing the latest dance trend, but way less likely to throw out your back. All right, my fellow sippers, that's today's Daily Sip. From EVs losing their spark to BookTok gaining momentum, we've seen how both cars and books can change the way we move. One gets us down the road, the other moves our hearts. Until next time, keep sipping, keep thinking, and remember, life's better when you share the story.
Yeah, that's a wrap for today. Thanks for spending part of your day with me. If today's sip gave you something to think about, smile about, or share, pass it on. Be sure to follow the show so we can keep sipping together. And until next time, I'm Marcel. Stay grounded, stay grateful, and I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you for letting me be part of your day. And until next time, keep noticing what makes life taste a little better. And if you're loving this, don't just sip in silence. Follow us, hit the subscribe button, and pour this into someone else's cup. Share it, spread it. Let's wake the world up together, one daily sip at a time.